Day 5, Sweden against South Korea was the opening game of the day at a location, at a venue that had been only built like 2 months previous. Sweden, ranked number 24 in the world, had finished third at the '94 World Cup. They had an average age of 29.5 years old. They last appeared at the tournament in 2006. Sweden were the reason why Italy and Holland were absent at these World Cup. They edged out the Dutch on goal difference in the group also containing France and Bulgaria. The Italians were defeated over a two-legged playoff by 1-0. Recently, the Swedes have been on a winless run of 6 games, and that was the last time, the Italy victory was the last time they tasted success. It would be the first time since 2000 that Sweden would be at a major tournament without their talisman, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Apparently, he didn't call the manager. Good defensively, Sweden played to their strengths: competitive, organised, compact, but lacking potency up front. They hadn't won an opening match since 1958, 60 years. It was believed that they had 30,000 fans attending the tournament. Opponents, South Korea, playing in unfamiliar white, they had appeared at every single World Cup since 1986. It was a record 10th appearance for an Asian country. The finest showing was at their own 2002 World Cup finals. It was an occasion that just elevated the side. The players under Gus Hiddink, they just far exceeded beyond their own expectations. But on this occasion, expectations were low due to the lack of quality throughout the team. They lagged 7 points behind Iran, as they won only 4 out of 10 games. They didn't win a single away game, losing to Qatar, which led to the dismissal of German Julius Stilicher with just 2 games remaining. All the home fixtures had been won. Winning only 2 of their last 13 World Cup games since 2002, they'd only kept 3 clean sheets, and they were ranked just slightly above Saudi Arabia, Japan, and hosts Russia. Poor form. They came into this World Cup on the back of poor form, a winless run of 6 friendly. Winless run. No, winless, not winless, but it was pretty poor form. They had 6 players with over 50 caps, 4 in Europe, notably included Son Heung-min and Ki Sung Young, who has played for Swansea for several seasons. It was 16 years ago. It was 16 years ago today that when Arne scored that memorable winner against the Italians on home soil. As for today's match, the intentions of both sides were positive, mostly the Koreans, but there was an evident lack of goalmouth activity, lots of free kicks, as play hadn't settled at all. Kim Shin-wook, a 100-goal striker in the K-League, was very unfortunate to be booked for a challenge on 12 minutes. Then a brilliant sliding challenge from last ditch from Kim denied Blomqvist as he came in for a clear run on goal. Then it was Berg, 6 yards out, unmarked, forcing a brilliant save from Ju. The keeper got up again to touch the ball over the bar and come to the aid of his country. Sweden were evidently dictating the play as Korea took a back seat. They were really growing into the game, the Swedes. Daniel's career Park, as he went to head the ball, he came down and he seemed to have pulled his hamstring. He was replaced by Kim Yun-woo. This was round about the 26th minute mark. Then the first sign of Son in action, his electrifying speed down the right side. He was virtually forced. Most of his action had been done. Most of his activity had been within his own halves. So possibilities for Korea were few and far between. They were defending in numbers and defending well. Niggling fouls continued as half-time approached. Berg was in again, bringing the ball down well, but he wasn't able to apply the finish, and the effort dragged across goal. Then there was Key's brilliant sliding tackle. This is the striker homed in on goal for the killer finish. And as time ran out, Klaassen, there was a chance that fashioned out for Klaassen, found himself onto the end of a cross, which was deflected over by the keeper, Ju. And then as we moved into the second half, Emil Forsberg, he came inside, but the finish didn't match the fine move. There was a bright start to the second half, and so the effort from Forsberg was driven woefully over. Second half, positive, from Korea too, and and a header from Chung further emphasised the aspirations in attack for the Asians. Then a vital save again from Ju came to the aid of Korea to deny the header from Torban. It was a finely flighted free kick needlessly given away, and it's from the same man who had needlessly given away the free kick who was to be penalised for an infringement in the area, which was to lead to the VAR's come into effect, and it led eventually the replays were viewed, and the referee came to the decision that there was a penalty award, and the captain Grønkvist stepped up to side foot low into the corner, giving Ju no chance at all. The spirits of the crowd were high. It just added some life to the occasion. And so Korea reeling, Sweden really looking strong, as looking in a good position as 20 minutes remaining. Lee Sung-woo, a kind of child prodigy, was brought on to save it for the Koreans, but there was no sign of a concerted attack, despite the youngster looking very lively indeed. Seb Larsson soon came off with 10 minutes left. This was Son saw himself needing the back of the head, a very uncomfortable moment. Korea were definitely more prominent, Sweden now taking a more reserved stance. But definitely there was a distinct lack of firepower in the vital areas for the struggling Koreans. This is an attack. And then 4 minutes of stoppage time, the chance arrived. Wang, from very fine delivery, he's sent his header high and over. There were claims for handball, waved away, and that was it. Sweden winning their first opening game for 60 years, and it was marginally well deserved. They go into the match against Germany high spirits, and Korea needed to get back on track and defeat the Mexicans in their following match.